Okay, this is episode number 2 of what I'm calling another tree job from hell. And it's a complicated job. We got a lot of the stuff off last week. We're not working on this every single day because I'm trying to keep my schedule going and the people are not in a hurry. This next piece that I've got to get off is what I was working on today. And there are a lot of little issues going on here. This was extremely tight when I was here last week, and it seems to have loosened up a little bit. I thought it was under extreme tension, but I kicked it and it came loose. So that means that this branch on the right is not pressured up against this little stubby cut, which is a good thing. I'm glad that that happened. So the complexities of this job are multifaceted. We've got that massive big deck, but we've also got this flat top roof that if we drop anything, even a small piece of wood, it's going to puncture this liner here. Now this piece right here is pressured up against the trunk, and you can tell by the big scrape on the bark that it's under a lot of tension. How much tension is for me to discover. Now there's an overview of where we're at. This is the whole tree from quite a ways away. It's a significant tree, and down low is where it's touching the roof. Okay, my thoughts on this job are continuously evolving. What we've got is a really soft slope here that kind of comes down a little bit. But if I could get that bucket, that small bucket back here, put it real close to the building here, I think I'll clear that. But if I put the dualies back here, and hopefully we'll clear this, but I've got to build a road. So if I come in here with the Bobcat and spend some time going back and back and back and taking some of the dirt and back dragging and creating a level that kind of drops off and then compact it a little bit, I may be able to get the bucket right up to here. We got mountains of debris to clear out here, and I can get all this out of here. But if I can get the bucket right up to this point, then I can raise the bucket up and I can use that to get all this stuff off and rope everything down to itself all the way down, probably all the way down to there. And that'll get a tremendous amount of weight off. I'm starting to tear the deck apart down here, and I'm finding that it's pretty rotten. So I talked with him, and he said, go ahead and just cut out these boards and we'll replace the boards entirely. And then this is the spot that I have to rake out and get ready for the A-frame. Second thought is it feels pretty sound by this 2x12 here. So if I put some big pieces down to distribute the weight here, right here, I can put a single timber all the way out and wedge it in place here. And then the same thing with right here. So if I distribute the weight and put a single timber right here and go straight up and wedge it in right there. So I'd have 1, 2, 3 stabilizers. And hopefully, my big hope is that the stump in the ground is holding a lot of this. And once I get a lot of the upper weight off, it'll get, well, obviously it'll get lighter and lighter, but at some point in time, I got to get it all the way down to here, where I have to rope down all of these things. Look at that, all the way down. And this one cut right here has got me really worried, because if I cut it right there, and this drops even a little bit, it's going to break this beam. So I think what I want to do is tie this off and make my cut right here, and have, so from there to there, I'll tie that off, and I'll probably do an undercut and cut up, which is really awkward, and it's cutting at an angle. It's not the way I'd want to do it really. But because of this beam, I can't get in here and cut this way. So the only thing I could really do is cut up at an angle. I want all that off of there, all that weight off of there, all that back stuff off, so that all I have, the entirety of the weight is on this point here, 1, 2, and then the A-frame down there. So the next challenge for me is to get all of that off without breaking the deck. So I thought I'd have to use the Bobcat, but we ended up raking a lot, and the level on the left actually went down quite a bit. There was about 2 feet of leaves here, and by piling the leaves up on one side, I got the truck in here and I backed in and out, then in, then out, compressed it, and we kept filling it in. It took us about an hour to get this bucket back in place here, and then positioning these supports for the outriggers was sketchy. One of them had to go on the deck, which I know is not a good idea. So what I did is I put pressure on the lower one and had just enough pressure to balance this out on the deck. I didn't want to use the hydraulics to power down on it, because then I may have cracked the deck. Sketchy, I know, I didn't like that. There's one of the limbs that I lowered down. I took some big cuts up here, and it didn't look at it like it from the ground, but this is really, really heavy stuff. I mean, look at the size of that limb that I just lowered down there that Jorge is holding. That's just one small piece of that section up there that I'm working on. So originally I thought I'd have to use this whole section of the valley oak as my tie-in point to reach this area, but I took a chance trying to get the Bobcat or the bucket in there, and it made a huge, huge difference. I still got a lot of wood to get down, but you'll see this is all the brush that we took out in this one part of the day. It was about 5 hours that we worked on it in this one day, and that's the next challenge. As I said in the first video, the first episode of this epic ordeal here, I'm going to break this up into little episodes, and you're going to get one about once a week or so whenever I get back to it. The people are not in a hurry. That's saving them some money. It's also helping me to somewhat keep up with my schedule of jobs, because I can't just drop everything for a week and put everybody off, because I'm booked up for 2 months in advance. So stay tuned for each of the episodes, and I'll explain things to you as I go, so you have a better understanding of the decision making that we're coming up with. And a lot of times these decisions change. On a day-to-day basis, they change.